Hello friends, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another tumbler tutorial. In this video, I'm going to make a checkerboard floral tumbler. So I'm starting out with my 30-ounce skinny straight cup that I have spray painted black. You do not have to use a black base. I just wanted to see what this glitter would look like on black. So you can use white, light blue, or black like I did. It doesn't really matter. The glitter I'm using is from Checkerboard Creations. It's part of the kawaii collection. So like cute Japanese theme. And all of these have this I don't even know how to describe the finish. They're not like a traditional glitter look really. They're really unique. Like you can see what it looks like in the bottle and then what it looks like on the cup. Just super duper pretty. I really love these. And it looks really pretty on the black base. So after I'm done glittering my tumbler, I'm going to let my epoxy cure. I use the epoxy method to apply my glitter. So I have maybe 2 to 3 milliliters on my entire cup. So this is going to sit for probably 4 to 6 hours. And then I'm going to go in and add 2 coats of Flynn Sisters Supply Shop Artist Cure epoxy to my tumbler. And those 2 coats made my cup pretty smooth. If your cup is not smooth after 2 coats, you'll want to do a full round of sanding to make sure that everything is as smooth as you can get it. So what we're going to do now is apply our checkerboard template. So I measured the circumference around my tumbler, and you'll notice I did that after my 2 coats of epoxy. You want to do that because your width of your cup is obviously going to be different after glitter and 2 coats of epoxy and all of that than it is with just like the plain stainless base. So make sure you do your measurement right before you're ready to apply your checkerboard. I cut my checkerboard stencil out of just plain white vinyl. And my squares are maybe about an inch, maybe a little smaller than an inch in size. And you can obviously customize your template if you want your checkerboard pattern to be larger. You can make your squares a little bit larger. If you want a smaller pattern with a ton of squares, you can just tile the pattern and make all of your squares smaller. It's totally personal preference. I just went kind of in the middle with like a medium-sized pattern. So I cut everything down, so all that's left is just my checkerboard. I don't have any excess vinyl or anything around the edges. And now I'm going to apply my transfer tape, and then we're going to wrap this entire thing around our tumbler. I think the hardest part of this design is this step right here, applying the transfer tape cleanly and then transferring this to your tumbler. So if you can do this step, the rest of the design will be easy peasy. So what I'm going to do, as you can see, I've got my transfer tape on and I have a bunch of extra adhesive around all the edges of my transfer tape. Really, we just need a little bit of extra on one side. So if you want to cut off the extra adhesive on the top or bottom, if it'll make it easier for you to apply the vinyl, then you can do that. But we want the extra adhesive on the one side. As you can see, we're going to use that kind of as our anchor point to tape the vinyl down so that we make sure that everything stays in place as we apply the pattern. Now, I tried this a whole bunch of times. I felt like I was just not getting it straight. So I tried this quite a few times to make sure that my pattern was going to line up perfectly. With a checkerboard pattern or stripes or anything like that that has more of a geometric look to it, you want to take the extra time to make sure that everything is applied as straight as can be. With a floral pattern or something a little more abstract, you don't need to be as perfect in your application because nobody's really going to notice any of those mistakes. Now, once I've got this in place, I'm going to essentially treat it like a sheet of pattern vinyl. So I'm going to cut away about an inch of the vinyl backing, and I'm going to start by sticking that down to my tumbler. And then I'm going to use my big vinyl scraper to scrape the vinyl onto the cup. One thing you want to be super careful with is making sure that all of the little squares transfer onto your cup. You want to make sure as you're pushing the vinyl on that nothing is getting left behind or staying stuck to the transfer tape rather than stuck to your tumbler. So once I've got the vinyl wrapped all the way around and everything has met up, I'm going to take even more time to remove the transfer tape as carefully and as cleanly as I possibly can. Again, we don't want any of those squares to be left on our transfer tape because we want to be in control of which squares get left on the cup and which squares get removed. We're also kind of doing like a peekaboo design here, so we want to make sure that everything is covered in this vinyl so that when we spray paint, we don't cover up any spots that we don't want covered up. I'm going to use my cup edging tool to clean up the bottom rim of the tumbler. We've got a little bit of puckering down at the bottom with our vinyl, so I'm just going to use my cup edging tool to straighten that out. I'll get rid of all the extra vinyl down there, and then we'll just have a nice straight seam down at the bottom of the cup. Okay, so now we're ready to spray paint. I decided to spray paint a turquoise like ombre on my tumbler, and honestly, I don't think it mattered in the end. I think you can like very barely just tell that I did that, so you can just skip the ombre step and do a solid color if you want, or if you want to do the ombre and have that slight little difference, you definitely can. So I spray painted my cup and then let it dry for about an hour. And now I'm going to go in and remove all of that excess vinyl from the top rim of the cup. So you can see that we've got some excess up top. I didn't want to remove that or cut it before painting just to make sure we masked off all of the squares that we're going to remove later. So now I'm going to go through and cut off, just like we would with a sheet of pattern vinyl. I'll take my craft knife and I'll just cut off all of that excess. So we've got a nice flush, clean line up at the top rim. I'm going to use my Artsyville foil adhesive here. This is very similar to the Southern Belle glitter foil adhesive, but I'm out of the Southern Belle glitter adhesive that I normally like to use, so I'm going to use this one, and it really works in the exact same way. I'm going to brush on a nice, even, thin layer, and then I'm going to let my cup sit for at least an hour. I think I honestly let it sit for probably like 6 hours. You just want to make sure that the white cast that you can see on the cup is gone, and the cup should just have a nice like slight shimmery or like sheen to it. Once that adhesive is dry or tacky, it's not truly dry, but it's dry enough that we can go in with our next step. We're going to apply our glitter, and we're going to use a kind of tack it method here. So I'm going to use Posh from Chase Ray, and I'm going to cover my tumbler in the glitter, and then with a gloved hand, I'm going to go through and burnish all of that glitter down. And you'll see that it will completely change the look of the glitter. So it goes from being this like mini chunky glitter that we've just got sitting on the top of the cup, and then when we burnish it down, it almost has like a foil effect to it. It really smooths everything out and gives a really cool shimmery, like shifty, mermaidy kind of effect. I really love how this turned out. I had never used this glitter before, so I wanted to use it and see what it looked like when you just applied it to a cup, and then see what it looked like obviously when you burnish it down, and it looks amazing both ways. Okay, it's time for my favorite part of any one of these designs, peely time. So we're going to go through right away, right after glittering. You don't have to wait any amount of time for this. We're going to go in and remove every other square of our vinyl to obviously create the checkerboard pattern, and it's going to reveal the blue glitter underneath. So we've got a really pretty monochrome look here with two different textures, and I think it's so beautiful, so subtle. I love this so much. So I'm just going to go through, peely time, have the time of my life, and I'll see you on the other side. Doesn't that look so pretty? The shiftiness of the Posh glitter looks so good. So I did spray seal this with a clear coat of like Rust-Oleum spray. And now after that dries, I'm going to go in with another coat of epoxy. I'm just going to do one coat here because we burnished that glitter down. Everything is really super smooth. So we just need one coat and then we can move on to our next step. Now, of course, if you wanted to be done here, you could be, but I wanted to add some florals and a decal. So we're going to just keep going. I have these semi-transparent floral bundle decals that I'm going to put on this tumbler. Now these are from Banff Custom Creations and they are no longer in business, unfortunately. So you can't get these exact ones from Banff, but there are tons of options from a bunch of different retailers that you can get these from. If you don't want to buy semi-transparent vinyl, you can also just cut out your own using the print and cut feature on your cutting machine and using like printable vinyl. You could also use water slide if you wanted to go that route. So lots of options for you, and there are tons of floral bundles with different flowers, different color palettes, so you can really customize this to whatever theme or vibe you're going for. So I'm going to cut these out and I'm just going to use 3 on my cup. They're kind of large and obviously I don't want to cover up my beautiful checkerboard pattern. So I'm just going to place these kind of scattered throughout the design, maybe covering any checkerboard areas that don't look super perfect, or, you know, just kind of placing them so that they look naturally flowing throughout the design, if that makes any sense. Okay, I lied. I know I said I was only going to do 3, but I ended up cutting another one of these florals in half and adding half of one to the bottom and then half of one to the top. I just felt like we were a little bit disconnected from the rims of the tumbler. I don't know if that makes any sense at all, but that's how I felt. So I cut another one in half and added half. So technically we used 4 floral bundles on this design. I'm going to add another coat of epoxy over this to seal our florals in and create a smooth surface for our decal. Now, of course, like I said before the last step, you could stop here. You don't have to do any sort of decal, but you could always do like a name or a quote like I'm going to do. I freaking love a good quote. So I'm going to use this one that I hand lettered. It says, "No one is you, and that is your power," which is a quote that I really, really love and I think about all the time. And I'm going to do an offset, of course. So for the bottom layer, I chose a blue chromy mirror vinyl from TECKWRAP Craft. I feel like this really, really matches well with the base colors that we have in the design. And then for the top layer, I chose the colorful pearl pink vinyl, also from TECKWRAP Craft, because I wanted to tie in a little bit of the pink shift that we have in our checkerboard, as well as the pink flowers in our floral. All right, after the decal, I added my last coat of epoxy. I used the FLYNN Sister Supply Shop Artist Cure epoxy for my last coat, and this is the final design. I am completely obsessed with how this turned out. I love this technique, and I feel like you could adapt this to a bunch of different like themes and styles. Like you could use any different sort of florals, you could do a bunch of glitter combinations and colors, and just really make each one of these unique while also being the exact same technique. So if you enjoyed the tutorial, please let me know down below in the comments and hit the thumbs up button if you did enjoy it. Make sure you are subscribed to my channel as well if you are not already, so you don't miss any of my new videos. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. I love you tons, and I'll see you in my next video. Okay, see you then. Love you. Bye. Hello friends, thanks so much for watching this video. I want to say a huge special thank you to my elite fam, my channel members, and my subscribers. You all make this channel possible, so thank you so much for being part of the fam. If you want more exclusive content from me, you can join my elite fam at patreon.com/elitefam. You can find my tumblers and digital files on my website madebymalstudio.com. And if you'd like to follow me on social media, you can find me on Instagram at madebymal_studio. Here's another video for you to check out, and I'll see you soon. Thanks so much for watching. Love you. Bye.